Good morning and afternoon. Welcome to the Intellectual Idiot Show.
Morning.
Your host, Max Hoffman, Michael Krupo, aka Big Sack, aka Enlarged Testicular, aka Cashew Nuts, and then Tyler Jeske, aka Big Head, aka Airhead, aka Dobby.
Wow, Max, we just really love this part.
Every week I try to keep it fresh with the introductions. So I hope that you guys like this one.
So hot.
So we got a great episode.
Mike looks pissed.
No, Mike looks pissed, but it's okay. He knows Marika Guda. There you go. Shout out to Bison. But anyway, Tyler, talk to us, Goose.
Dude.
How was the Alaska trip? Welcome back to the pod, Mike. Let's give it up for Ty.
Thank you, boys. Yeah, it was fucking unreal, the trip. It was, we went everywhere. It was a very diverse trip. Started in Las Vegas. First night we get there, they're
started in Las Vegas. Ty lost all of his money and then headed to Alaska.
No, I barely gambled, but we the first night we get there, first morning, the night before, Jake, the guy we're meeting there, texts me, worst flooding of all time happens in Vegas. So I'm just like, oh God, are we gonna be fine? Literally, it's like a freaking massive Nile River on the strip. Apparently a bunch of casinos got flooded, but it ended up literally being in and out in 20 minutes. It was like kind of crazy. So it was fine when we got there. First flight was delayed 5 hours. So our whole morning was taken away the first day, but it is what it is. It was an amazing time. Went to the Cirque du Soleil show, went to a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, walked around the strip. Super fun.
Did you eat at the Gordon Ramsay restaurant?
Yeah, we ate at the Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse, and we got steaks and beef Wellington. I got the beef Wellington. It was so good.
You gotta get nice.
Yeah, it was amazing. Really, expensive. It was like $23 for a side of mashed potatoes.
That's so stupid.
It was a little ridiculous, but
not worth it.
It's worth it. It was worth it, dude. You got to go there to experience it.
I feel like going to like the Ramsay Steakhouses and all those type of places of the world is just like a high price tag just because of the name of the place.
Basically, but also probably higher quality food. But yeah, after that, went to Seattle. I didn't really know what to expect, and it was freaking beautiful out there. It was perfect, 80 degrees, which probably isn't very normal, but walked around the shore, walked around downtown, went up to the Needle, saw, clear as day, could see Mount Rainier, which is freaking beautiful. See Mount Baker, all the coastline. Honestly, really like Seattle. Would never live there though, because we were just curious, looking at apartments, like when we were driving past them, and it's like minimum 1,800 for a studio bedroom. I'm just like, holy crap.
Even mine, you probably saw like the two nicest days in Seattle has to offer.
Oh yeah, I know. Like they normally
also Seattle most of the time is a piece of shit.
You're a real hater on Seattle.
Dude, my time in Seattle was miserable. Like I went there, like downpoured the entire time, and it was like there was a gum wall and a market. Yep. And like I was like, wow, this is really.
It was really cool checking out the market and the gum wall when it was beautiful out.
Yeah, the gum wall was disgusting, and the market was like, it was cool. I like the Seattle market, but it's not something necessarily that I'd go to the state for. You know what I mean? I don't know. Sure. Just difference of opinion, but sure. I'm jealous of Alaska.
Yeah. Then after Seattle, we went to Alaska. First few days, 4 nights we spent in the Kenai Fjords National Park area, Lake Seward. We got absolutely poured on the first 3 days. It did not stop raining, and we were like, well, wow, like this is rough. Like it literally didn't stop raining. We went kayaking.
You and Mel on trips where it just starts pouring the entire time. Didn't that happen for you guys?
Yeah, that happened at Rock Island too. It was a little nuts, but yeah, the first 3 days it didn't stop raining. Still really fun. It just was a little bit of a bummer. We were wet all the time. We went kayaking, and it was absolutely just downpouring. Super beautiful though. Kenai Fjords, went like on a hike up to a glacier. Then we went down to Homer, a cute little mountain town. Kind of looks like New Zealand, honestly. After that, we kind of, drove up more towards central Alaska, small little town called Talkeetna. We did that like flight over Denali and like went around Denali and saw it from above. Literally just another world up there. So freaking beautiful. It's like so majestic. Our pilot made the comment, "We're not going to another planet today. We're going to another world." So that was just made me
Ah,
feel like I was in Interstellar, and I was
Bum,
like,
bum,
whoa,
bum.
whoa. I got to sit in the cockpit too. I was like the co-pilot. It was really cool.
Pretty sure they call those people the cackers.
Yep, I was in the cocker. But yeah, we went to the Talkeetna. That's where we did the flight scene. We also did fishing before that, and then we did a glacier hike. Saw, just so happened that the band Camp, if anyone knows it, was there, like on our way back to our next Airbnb at the Alaska State Fair. They're kind of like the Lumineers, really
oh, okay.
little mountain
People
band.
talk about you keep talking about camp like people know who the fuck
Dude,
camp.
Camp is a really popular band. Like they actually
Michael,
are.
do you know who camp is?
I've been to Camp Bar, which is
Yeah. Nobody knows who camp
No.
is.
Okay, you're just wrong on that, Max, but okay.
Wait, Ty, I don't want to interrupt your storytelling here, but I'm really curious. Do people like in Alaska, natives, do they have like an accent? Is it like Canadian or
No,
what?
it's just very normal. Like I
Very
don't know,
flat? Huh.
just normal.
I was
No,
just curious.
a lot of people out from outside, like Alaska, moving there.
Cool.
But yeah, when we went after the glacier hike, we went up to Talkeetna, which is a small little town, unincorporated. Really fun fact about Talkeetna: we met the mayor,
Whoa,
and the mayor happened to be a cat.
really?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was like this really like beautiful cat with like blue eyes. It looked like a White Walker from Game of Thrones, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was really cool. Just went to some cool breweries and had some good food there. Went fishing, caught some salmon. It was like my dream my whole life to go Alaskan salmon fishing and then eat it the same night. Shipped it back. Thought it would be kind of like not terrible to ship it back. We sent like 8 pounds back, and at first they're like, "Oh, that'll be $14." I was like, "Oh, wow, that's not bad." And they're like, I was like, "Oh, it's only 14." She's like, "Oh, you want to ship it?" I was like, "Yeah, I've talked about shipping it the whole time." "Oh, that'll be 179." Yeah, so that was quite expensive to ship.
Where do you
back
get the
then.
$14 from? Just from like
I don't
putting it in
know.
a
I'm like,
box?
wait, what was that to just cut it up? Literally.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't know.
so that was a little ridiculous. And then went up to Denali National Park, took the bus through, did some ATVing, did some whitewater rafting. Saw a lot of wildlife, some bears, some caribou, reindeer, sea lions, sea otters, eagles. I mean, yeah, Alaska is just on another level. It's insane out there. Everywhere you look, it's nuts. Like when we were in that little town, Palmer, where that Alaska State Fair was, like it was literally, I was thinking to myself, like, this is just as beautiful or even more beautiful than the Grand Tetons. And these mountains were just like unlabeled. Like that's how insane it is there.
Mhm.
I was really hoping that you would get mauled by a grizzly when you were out there, but you're here.
Thanks, bud. You're so kind.
So, but anyway, well, that's awesome, Tyler. It sounds like you had a great trip. So we're happy that you're back, and make sure you keep that itinerary for when I head to Alaska, hopefully in the next year. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll have
Um,
a document ready for you.
but yeah, I mean, going off of that, we're heading right into talking about the top places that we want to go and that we want to travel to. And I'll just kick it right off the bat. Alaska is extremely high on that list for me. And so Haley and I, we took the trip to Tetons, Yellowstone, and Glacier this year on a road trip. And we are kind of debating, do we want to do Alaska right now, or do we want to do like this road trip? And we decided to go with the road trip to knock out, a couple national parks, and I don't regret it at all. I mean, that trip was
Oh, that's a beautiful trip.
It was incredible. Glacier and Yellowstone and Tetons and whatnot. It's
That's
something
a-
you got to do.
It's a must do, that trip.
It's a must do for sure. But Alaska, again, Tyler, like you posting the pictures you did and talking about your time out there, it just seems like Glacier on steroids to me.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like crazy. Everything I hear about Alaska just seems crazy. It's like kind of they get the vibes that you're just like dropped in the middle of this world of just like Jurassic Park. Like you're just there in nature
Welcome
and there's
to
just
Alaska.
but you're Alaska, yeah. So just crazy. Alaska would definitely be really high on my list of things that I want to do. And it's always nice when you got somebody that goes like right before you want to go too, because it's kind of like you get the itinerary and all the best things that they did, and then you can leave out the worst things that they did and just kind of go and see it yourself. But no, I was talking with Mel. She was like, "Oh yeah, we did all these crazy things. There definitely could have been more efficient ways we could have went about doing it." So that's why it's nice to just hop on the back of their trip and be like, "Okay, like tell me the efficient way to do this." Then we'll go
Yeah.
about it. But no, yeah, Alaska's pretty high on my list. Mike, I'll pass it out to you. Sorry.
I think the one thing like I could care, if I died right now, I wouldn't really have a huge list of regrets of places I haven't been. But skiing in the Swiss Alps is probably like my number
Ooh.
one thing. I've had the pleasure of going to Switzerland a couple of years ago, just kind of sort of seeing part of the Alps, flying over them. But that would be like my number one bucket list thing, skiing in the Swiss Alps.
That's
So,
awesome, Mike. You gotta make that happen in the next couple of years. That'd be awesome.
Where did you go when you were there?
where did I go? We kind of stayed. I actually have family in Switzerland, so we were able to stay like in a small village that was probably about an hour south of Zurich, I want to say, and they literally just live at the base of like a mountain, and there's just cattle roaming around, like you're in a freaking picture book of what Switzerland looks
Oh,
like.
that's
So
so sick. Dude, also speaking of Zurich, isn't that airport the coolest fucking airport?
it is a pretty sick airport. That's right. It's
That's
a
ranked
huge
as like one of the
airport.
best airports in the world. The Zurich airport.
You know what they say? Come to Switzerland for our airport. Nothing else to see here.
Not the mountains, not the big towns.
Not Geneva. Yeah. But
That's awesome though, Mike. That kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting you to say that, but that's like super cool. I've never been to Switzerland, so I hope to get there one day, but never been. What did you do when you were over there?
we had various relatives, like we went up some sort of mountain peak where they have like the steepest incline train in service there going up some mountain. So it took like an hour to get up it or something. Visited just pretty much where my great grandparents lived in like a random farm in the middle of butt fuck nowhere, Switzerland.
Wow.
There's just a random family that was living there in the house. And I had a relative, he goes in there and speaks Swiss German. He's like, "Hey, my great grandma lived here. Can we just stop in for lunch?" And so we had a very interesting just conversation with random people, random farmers.
So let me get this straight. You just walked into a random house and asked this family if you could eat lunch with them because your great croaked grandparents lived there.
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. That sounds
That
like
is- That is really making the most of a trip to its fullest, I guess. I wish that family would have told you to fuck off and kick
I
off.
think they wanted us to, but
they were probably just like horrified. Oh God, these Americans want to come in and do this.
That's so funny.
what about you, Ty? Places
Yeah,
you wanna go?
I got so many places I want to go, man. Like, how many places are we talking here that we could talk about?
Give us your top 3, maybe.
Yeah, give us no more than 3. We need an hour.
First one, I really want to go to like Argentina / Chile. To see
Yeah, the Andes I had down. Yeah.
Andes and see the Patagonia, like the Torres del Paine National Park. You know, the mountains there and the glaciers and the nature there just looks unbelievable. It looks so cool. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen pictures of like it out there, the Patagonia. It looks insane.
Yeah, I see it on everybody's shirts all the time that wear Patagonia shirts. Like,
That's
oh, yeah.
true.
You knew that joke was coming.
Yeah. In
Horrible.
terms of nature, though, that's got to be the top for me.
What, any other, like one or two more places?
Yeah, I guess I'll stick over there. Like on another, like the same trip, I'd like to hit up Brazil too.
Ooh.
And go to Iguazu Falls. Have you guys heard of Iguazu Falls?
Mm-mm.
It's honestly, they look like the most beautiful falls in like beautiful waterfalls in the world. Let me pull up, share my screen.
Is that like the
Tyler-
Victorian
Tyler-
Falls?
Tyler makes absolute statements with every single thing he says. So
Bro, I do make absolute statements, but you're gonna agree with me on this.
Aren't the Victorian Falls in South America somewhere? Like the largest waterfall?
Like, look at it.
The Iguazu Falls.
They're so insane.
really cool.
So if you're describing it to the listeners, what is it? It's like multiple tier
It's just
waterfalls.
tons of cascading, huge waterfalls while you're in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. It just looks absolutely nuts. Definitely on the top of my list as well. And then also I really want to go to like Thailand and just see that.
Thailand.
See the elephants, experience the culture, experience the food, experience the beaches, the beauty.
So I'm gonna give a few more too.
Sure.
I really want to go to Africa. I
Oh
want,
yes, Kenya.
I want to go to either, I don't know about Kenya. I don't know if it's as safe, but Tanzania is a place that I want to go.
Oh yeah.
And there's like you could do like awesome safaris and stuff down there and amazing hiking and Africa is just kind of one of those bucket list things where it's just like that's the next like I take plenty of trips around the States, like out west or wherever, but my next like big trip, I definitely want to go to Africa and just kind of immerse myself in there and go for a couple weeks and just
do some volunteering.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, hiking and all that crazy stuff. It just looks incredible. Africa is definitely up there for me. And then another place I really want to go, I want to go to Bali.
Bali looks so cool.
I want to go to Bali really bad. It just looks like a place that is crazy and would fit my vibe. But yeah, those are two of my like, okay, little far-fetched. And I've had 3 Europe trips canceled 3 years in a row. So I don't think
It's far-fetched, Max, to go there.
well, no, it's not far-fetched, but that wasn't the right word I'm looking for. Like on my big trip list, I guess I could say.
Yeah. Dude, Bali, I've heard is so freaking cheap there. You can get like a meal for like $2. You could stay at like a hotel for like $8.
The US dollar must carry a lot of weight over there, hey?
Oh yeah.
But no, I those are the two like bigger trips I want to go on, like Africa. And I do want to go to Europe too. I haven't been to Europe yet. I've literally had 3 straight trips canceled in a row. COVID, the next year, or no, 2 straight trips, COVID, and then canceled our backpacking trip, Tyler. And then the next year I was going on a cruise with Haley last year in November, and that got canceled as well. So cheers.
So sad.
So eventually I'll get to Europe, but I'm just gonna wait until all this COVID shit and
It's over.
shit, all this stuff is dead, and then I'm gonna go.
Pretty much, Max, places that you want to go to in the world. You're just naming off the other continents that aren't North America.
Yeah, pretty much.
I go to Europe. I want to go to Asia.
Well, I mean, I've honestly had.
No,
I mean, there are still plenty of places in the States that I want to go to.
Yeah.
But like, I kind of took this as more, maybe just me, as more like big trip, like
That's fair.
bucket list type places to go.
Mhm.
And those two are Africa. I've always wanted to go. Like when I studied abroad in Australia, I was debating between Australia and Africa.
We've
Those were,
talked a lot about Africa, Max, and like doing that big, volunteer/hike trip.
I mean, you
Yeah.
guys say Africa. You talking about like South Africa? Or
Tanzania,
like
like
Egypt?
Tanzania. We've talked a lot about Tanzania and Kenya, like at least from what I remember, Max.
yeah. No, you're right. That's exactly what I was talking about. Like Tanzania is probably the most touristy destination to go in Africa because it's like they have like that's where they like host all their safaris and all that. I mean, you could do a safari almost anywhere in Africa, but Tanzania is like the touristy, so to speak, type of Africa. I don't even know how touristy it really is. I don't know how many people travel to Africa, but no, it's that I don't know. It's just something I've always really wanted to do. So
Yeah.
Mike, you got any more?
No, I'm good with just Swiss Alps. I'll
Sure.
die on that mountain.
All right.
you'll die on that mountain. What Mike, is there any places else in the States that you want to go to? Like you've been to Colorado, you've been out west, you've been out east.
No, I haven't really been to too many places out like west where you guys are talking about these national parks like Yosemite and Glacier and Teton. Never been there. I'd be sick. Hawaii would be dope just to say you were there once. I
Yeah.
love Maui. So
Will you put on a hula skirt and dance?
yeah, and I'll put out a coconut bra.
Yeah. I I definitely want to go. Like Utah is a place that I want to get to soon. I haven't.
Yeah,
yet, but-
Felt
Oh
like
my God.
Sammy.
Haley's brother just took a trip to Utah with his girlfriend and it looked
Dude,
so cool. Like Zion
Utah's
and all those-
Utah's on another level as well. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Like I would love to go to Utah, check out Utah and everything that it has to offer. And I've never been. I've really barely been out east. I mean, I've been to North Carolina and Tennessee.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But I really haven't experienced like I would love to like Boston looks really cool. I'd love to go to Boston and hang out there for a while and kind of go. I've been to New York as well, I guess, but check out the East Coast a little bit more.
East doesn't interest me as much, if I'm being honest. Like it just feels like more of the beauty's out west.
Yeah, but not every trip has to be about beauty. You know what I mean? Like there
Yeah,
can
I guess
like you don't not every single
history.
surrounded by, like-
There's a lot of history in the East.
Yeah, and there's like a bunch of really, really cool shit to see. Like if you're a baseball fanatic, going to Fenway Park, and like Boston is an incredibly cool city. Like it's got a ton of history. It's got a ton of things to do in Boston. Like, I mean, it's a really, really awesome place to be, and a lot of people love to vacation there and to go to Boston and Massachusetts. It's beautiful. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like for us, like we like to go hiking and take a bunch of trips out west and go in the mountains and all that shit. But like, not everybody loves to do that. Like some of
Yeah.
people's ideal vacation would be going out east, checking out that stuff and the history and whatnot. But yeah, speaking of that, we got number 10,
What?
number 1.
What's hot?
What
Oh,
we're talking
we did our what's hot, what's not. Oh shit. All right, well, let's jump into that first. Sorry about that, fellas. My bad. The host got caught sleeping, I guess.
Yeah, geez.
So who wants to start? Mike?
Sure. What's hot? I do have a main one, but just a quick shout out for something that is hot is college football. Finally starting off. We got a couple games that were going on the past couple days. I think Nebraska won their first game finally against Northwestern.
In Ireland, right?
Brutal. Yeah, in Ireland.
How
And Ireland
cool
made-
is
whoa.
that?
Yeah, I don't really know how the heck that got planned out, but I heard some like point of sale system was like not working, so they just had to give out free beer for like 2 hours during that game to everyone that attended it.
Oh
So
God, the Irish were probably
Real quick, another place I want to go is Ireland. I want to play golf in Ireland.
sure.
That would be fucking incredible.
But other than college football, my other main what's hot is Dennis Rodman is planning very shortly to travel to Russia in order to attempt to get Brittany Griner home. He got the
Why is
okay to
Dennis
go.
Rodman
Because-
our freaking diplomat for everything.
I mean, we sent him to North Korea and he's pals with Kim Jong-un. And like the quote in the news story was in 2014, Dennis Rodman said that Vladimir Putin was, quote, cool, unquote. So let's see what he can do here.
I cannot believe
Fuck,
he's going
Vladdy.
to Russia. He's gonna
Talk
get
to
trapped out
Dennis.
there. He's gonna get caught. He's gonna get trapped. He's gonna
They'll
be
probably
stuck.
throw him in prison too.
So
Oh
that's
my-
by what's hot. By what's not is whipped cream is not hot.
Mm. Tell me
So
more. I'm intrigued.
recently, New York State has required people to buy whipped cream, canned whipped cream. They have to show an ID and be at least 21 years old. You have
Why?
to be 21 years old to buy whipped cream in New York.
Why?
Well, apparently there are people out there who will use the whipped cream canisters and use them as whippets. You guys know what whippets are?
No.
Whippets are pretty much just compressed nitrous oxide gas, and you inhale it and you get really high from it for about 30 seconds. It's the same like material as laughing gas. If you ever go to the dentist and you get laughing gas, but it's just really highly concentrated, and they'll use these whipped cream containers.
Whipped cream?
cream.
to get a bunch of nitrous oxide in it and just inhale it and get really high. So now you have to be 21 years old to buy canned whipped cream in New York.
That is very interesting. I did not know that.
That's
Insane.
nuts.
Yeah. So just
Bad day to be whipped cream out there. Bad day to be Ready Whip Company
Yeah,
out in New York.
not ideal.
Tough look,
Big yikes.
man.
So, I'll flip it on. Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
All right, got it.
So I thought I had to mention this because it was historical. Julio Rodriguez, the 21-year-old, just got like the largest deal in the history of sports. It's a very interesting contract. I'm trying to understand it. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but
Yeah,
so
I
Julio Rodriguez, outfielder, right, for the Mariners, just agreed to a minimum of $209.3 million 12-year contract starting next season that could be worth $469.6 million over
With incentives,
17
right?
years if he wins 2 MVP awards, which would make it by far the largest sports deal in the history of sports. Is it worth it, boys? Is he worth
No,
it?
dude, I feel pretty passionate about these like deals that go on in the MLB, and it's just like, when are people gonna learn that MLB is too risky of a sport to give players contracts like this?
Yeah.
Like time and time again, a player will get a ginormous contract and then have zero incentive to perform. I mean, granted, they did put a couple clauses in Julio Rodriguez's contract that's like, if you win a couple MVPs, you get a couple more $1 million, whatever. It's like, he's still getting an astronomical amount of money to play on the Mariners for the next 13 years. Like,
Yeah.
I hate it. Like the Brewers did it with Yelich, and they have no business doing contracts like that, and they got bit in the ass. The
There's no-
Angels did it with Albert Pujols. They got bit in the ass. Like,
Right. Yeah.
time and time again, it shows MLB is the riskiest sport. If you're a good running back in the NFL, you're going to be a good running back the next year, unless you Eddie Lacy.
That is so not true.
Yeah. I'm really, really not vibing with that comment right there.
What do you mean?
It's way riskier in the NFL. Those guys get injured left and right. It's such a physical sport. Like
Todd Gurley fell off a cliff.
Well, yeah, because he tore his ACL.
Fell off a cliff though. It doesn't matter if he tore his ACL or not. It's the same.
Right,
amount of
but I'm
risk as
saying, but
baseball
you could like
non-performance.
nothing could happen to you in the MLB and you could just become bad. It's way more of a mental sport. If you stay healthy in football, you're going to be good. If you stay healthy in basketball, you're going to be good. So what is Giannis going to go out there next year and average 14 points a game?
This
Maybe.
argument isn't really making much sense to me, Mike. I don't know. What do you think?
I just think, in all honesty, a lot of these huge contracts that get signed, especially in the MLB, it's because of players' past performance. They know that they're a big name and they can get crowds to attend these games that these players are at, even if they're crappy for the next 3 to 5 years. They still have that name recognition of, oh, that was an MVP in like 2015. That's a big name at our team. It draws fans to the game.
Yeah. I mean, you also in the NFL, you don't see running backs getting 10-year contracts.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the point. You know,
'Cause their life is so much
they're,
shorter.
they're dispensable. They could be done in 2 years. They could be done in 3 years.
Well, that's what I'm talking about exactly with the MLB. Like, why does the MLB do that with MLB players?
I mean, the longevity is much larger in the MLB, but also, yeah, they should not be getting that long of contracts. I agree, though.
I just think, in my opinion, baseball is the hardest sport by a long shot. Like, and with mental wise, like out there at the plate, like you don't know when a player is just going to get absolutely lost. Like,
Yeah.
Yelich is lost at the plate, and he can't. Like this year, he's hit a little bit better, but it's like you don't know when a player is just going to turn off. Yelich looked like baseball's gift, like literal god to baseball for like 2 years, and then he just all of a sudden got his bag, and he just like missing, like mentally gone. And it's like, I guess my point is, in baseball, mentally, you don't know when a player is just going to disappear. In the NBA or in the NFL, like if you stay healthy, most of the time, if you're an athlete, you'll perform, is what I'm saying. Like I very rarely see it. Like Aaron Rodgers is going to be good year in and year out if he stays healthy. Like it's just what it is.
Okay.
You
What's
disagree?
not hot, Ty?
Yeah, what's not? The Brewers coaching. Craig Counsell. First one that I could think of, pulling Freddie Peralta when he's got a no hitter, and then immediately them hitting the go ahead home run. Just like, why making decisions like that? Max, you had mentioned something about a pinch hitting situation, and also for them not playing Keston Hero when he clearly should be playing on a day-to-day basis. But Max, you had mentioned something about a pinch hit the other day.
Oh yeah, I mean they pinch hit him again for a guy who hasn't played in 3 months, 2 months. And he grounded in a double play and we immediately lost the game.
Chase Peterson.
Yeah, I just think it's Council's overthinking this year because he's, I think, feeling the noise of people not being very pleased with him. I think he's making rash decisions and he's overthinking what he's been doing for the last however many years. I think Craig Counsell's a good manager, but I think that in a downward spiral of a season, like I don't think it's Craig Counsell's fault that our team can't hit, but I don't know. Sometimes the manager is just the one that gets all the
It
blame.
seems like he's panicking a bit.
Yeah, I think he is panicking a little bit because he's hearing all the noise because people don't like realize that it's not Craig Counsell's fault that our team bats, you know, nobody bats over 200, 220. So it's not, it's not Counsell. He can't go out there and hit for him. And if he did, he'd probably go for 40.
Yeah, Max.
My what's hot actually is Christian Yelich. Christian Yelich last night, 4 for 5, homer, 3 RBIs. Woodruff had 10 strikeouts last night. So I'm really hoping from a little bit of a reversal from last year when the Brewers were amazing all year and then they sputtered in September and then got knocked out of the playoffs. I'm hoping the Brewers kind of ride the struggle bus a little bit over the past 2 months and then they figure it out in September. It starts clicking and they roll right in. Hopefully this game is a Yelich performing like that. And this game is a huge stepping stone for that.
How many games we have left until the playoffs? And like
36, I'm pretty sure.
Wow, that's still a decent amount.
36 games, and we're 2 games back of the wild card and 6 games back in the division lead right now.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. And right now, I truly don't have a whole lot of what's not. You know, things are pretty good for the most part. I would say like that was a big what's not for me is the Craig Counsell situation. And everything that was going on over there with that, because that was just a disaster.
We can talk about Josh Hader.
Well, Josh Hader, we talked about him in the last couple of weeks as a what's not.
We have.
But I will say one big what's not that I was thinking about that's usually a disaster is getting paired with 2 other people in a foursome. So if you go golfing to like a regular course or whatever, and you just go 2 people, a lot of the times the golf course won't let you go out with just the 2 of you and they'll pair you with 2 random people. And it's sometimes you'll get lucky and golf with somebody good, but a lot of the times you'll get paired with 2 people that are a disaster and it'll completely down your whole round.
Or if they're too intense, like
or if they're too intense and get too frustrated, too much of a rule follower or whatever, like golf courses need to stop doing that. I know it maximizes their money when they have 4 people out and around rather than 2, but that is brutal. And it really like, if you're going out and playing with somebody that you're really excited to play with and you get stuck with 2 other people.
Sometimes, honestly, the best kind of people to be paired with in that situation are like 2 old guys who are course regulars because they're going to pick any club up. They're going to whack the ball 100 yards and they're just going to walk straight to their ball. They'll shoot the shit a little bit with each other. Like, oh, nice chip, Will, or some old man named like Clarence. So I don't know.
Clarence the Duck. All right.
But yeah, that does suck, Max. I've had that happen before where
it's so bad.
Well, looks like we're not enjoying this round today.
Yeah, looks like we're playing with these guys today. So but anyway, let's move on. 50 states.
The last 10 states in the US, the top 10. I'm excited for this.
Let's start it off. I got a couple here. Firing off number 10, Wyoming, known as the equality state because I believe women had the right to vote there in 1869, the first state to ever allow that. But Fact. Wyoming, it's a beautiful state. Never been there, but I've heard it's beautiful. They have Yellowstone. They have the Grand Tetons. They obviously have Old Faithful there, and they have Jackson Lake. So just some beautiful landmarks in Wyoming. They
Jackson-
also have obviously the Devil's Tower, which is like the logo for the North Face brand. So
My uncle actually climbed that. It's the way to climb that, literally, it's a crack. There's cracks, there's nothing to grab it, and you put your hands in the crack and you climb it that way. He climbed Devil's Tower.
that's freaking scary, insane, awesome though. That's super sick. But Wyoming, bunch of national parks. The way to kind of describe Wyoming geographically is they have 4 regions. They have the Great Plains, the Southern Rockies, the Middle Rockies, and the Wyoming basins. Another fun fact is that Wyoming is ranked 2nd when it comes to the happiest and healthiest states, probably because they just get to enjoy just their awesome national parks and whatnot in there. Another thing that I think Wyoming's pretty cool is that this is where Brokeback Mountain, the film, was featured, where Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger are 2 cowboys in the early 1900s, and they bang in a tent one night and they love each other. So it's a great movie. It's a great movie, Brokeback Mountain. So set in Wyoming.
Interesting.
Beautiful. What do we got next here?
Number 9 is Maine, known as the Pine Tree State. Another film that was filmed, or another movie that was filmed in Maine, was The Shawshank Redemption. So
that was
any Stephen King movie or book, it's usually always set in Maine. Because I don't know what else is going on there. The way to kind of describe Maine is that they have coastal lowlands, the New England uplands, and the White Mountains, kind of in the northwest region of the state. Maine is home to Acadia National Park.
Yeah,
I've heard of it before, and I looked up some pictures. It was beautiful. There's something called Bubble Rock, where it's just like this huge freaking boulder, like on the edge of a cliffside from like the glaciers X amount of thousands of years ago. So that's kind of like a cool natural site. There's a lot of harbors in Maine. They have something called the Bold Coast, which are just like untamed shoreline with a bunch of cliffs everywhere. So that's pretty sick.
It's also the crabbing state, right? They got tons of
90% of lobsters come from Maine. In the the US is like lobster, 90% comes from Maine.
Wow.
And 99% of blueberries in the US come from Maine as well.
Really? Wow.
That's
That's cool.
And then the last fun fact tidbit, their national what do they call it? State capital is Augusta, and that boasts 18,000 people in their state capital. So, it's a tiny town.
Cool.
So,
good stuff. Washington's number 8, right, boys?
I believe so. Yeah.
All right, that's me. Washington, obviously home to Seattle. You got the Space Needle.
Okay, yeah, never mind. Go ahead, sorry. I thought it was 7, but my bad.
Space Needle, downtown Seattle. Some people love it. Some people, it's whatever. But Seattle is in the great state of Washington. Also, you have home to some spectacular beauty.
Emerald
Mount
State.
St. What?
The Emerald State.
Mount St. Helens National Park. Ty, could you let me talk about Washington? Thanks. Mount St. Helens National Park.
What about it?
I'm just saying it's in Washington.
Oh,
you got they have their famous ferry from Seattle to Bremerton. So that's how you take the ferry across the pond over back and forth. You have Diablo Lake, a reservoir created by the Diablo Dam. Good selection of fish are kept in the lake, and you can expect to see many kayakers out in the water. And then Granite Mountain offers outstanding views from its peak, including Crystal Lake, Kelleton Peak, and Mount Rainier. And then that leads me to Mount Rainier at the end, which Ty mentioned earlier that you can see Mount Rainier from like the Space Needle in Seattle on a clear day. But yeah, Washington is absolutely breathtaking. I've been to Washington myself. And when you go up like by the mountains, it's gorgeous. There's like two sides of Washington. You have like Seattle where it's like constantly rainy, and then you go over and I forget exactly what pass it is that you go through, but then you go to the other side and it's like always just like super beautiful and warm and dry and all that stuff. So yeah, that's Washington.
Do I have permission to add a few things, Max?
Yeah, go ahead.
Olympic National Park, I heard, is insane. Really, those awesome like oaky or mossy trees, beautiful coastline, black sand beaches there, and then also like North Cascades National Park, I heard, is like super underrated and another really cool place of like, it kind of looks like Glacier, honestly, if you guys have heard of North Cascades.
I have
National-
not. I have not. But I was gonna say Olympic National Park too. I forgot about that one. That
Yeah.
was on my list.
Nice.
But who's next?
That would be bringing it back to me. Number 7, Montana. Did you guys know that Montana is mountain in Spanish? Montaña.
Montaña.
So
to-
Montana, known as the Treasure State or Big Sky Country. I love hearing that, Big Sky Country. But obviously home to a bunch of national and state parks. Shout out to Max's mug. Glacier National Park is in Montana. They have a really cool lake called Flathead Lake. It's the largest freshwater lake west of the Mississippi. They have a little bit of Yellowstone National Park in it. That's majority of it's in Wyoming, apparently. But they have a thing called Bighorn Canyon, which is just like
Ooh.
a lookout. And you can't forget, there's a place called Going to the Sun Road, which is just kind of like a picture of a
Yeah.
mountain divide. And
It's-
that is where the continental divide is, where, you know, rivers or waters will go either to the Pacific or to like the Atlantic Ocean. So that's kind of like a cool little geography fun fact and whatnot. They also have the Yellowstone River, which is the largest free-flowing river in the lower 48. And other than that, there's also this like beautiful scenic view of called the Gates of Mountains, which is just north of Helena. Honestly, if you looked up like nature Montana, one of the first 2 images you're going to see is this Gates of Mountains photo of just beautiful blue sky in the background and just mountains there. And it's close to Helena. The one other fun fact I have about Montana, there's a movie called A River Runs Through It. It's like an old 90s movie with Brad Pitt in it. Just kind of shows some of the beautiful geography there. And there are more cattle than people in Montana. So that
Wow.
wraps up number
That's
7.
crazy.
Wow. I do remember driving through Montana. That was crazy. It was just like farm, just
Yeah, it's
cattle.
so
It's like,
desolate.
yeah. It's like you'd see in Wisconsin, you'd see tons of like barns when you're and farmland when you're driving up through the northern parts of the state, but it's like the room to roam in Montana is insane. Just insane. But yeah, who's next?
Mike's got a phone call.
I'm outside and it's starting to rain on my porch. So I'm like gonna have to change base camp here. So luckily I'm done with my state. So it's all you guys. I'll mute
All right,
myself.
we're at 7, right?
6.
6. All right, what is 6 again? I'm just trying-
Colorado.
Colorado. All right. The state that is home to the Mile High City. Such a beautiful state. Been out there a bunch of times. I know, Max, you've been out there a couple times. Mike, have you been out to Colorado?
Oh yeah, it has.
Home to the world's largest suspension bridge, the Royal Gorge Bridge above the Arkansas River. I don't know if you've done it, Max, but it would be a struggle for you with the whole heights thing. It's beautiful, and that's where we actually went whitewater rafting as well. I think you may have went whitewater rafting.
I went right after there too, yeah.
Yeah, it's such a cool area, but Colorado is known for the Rocky Mountains and its beautiful mountain scenery, especially in the fall. I went out there in the fall last year and just seeing the yellow aspen trees turning over, like it's just magical. Going to Red Rocks Amphitheater, seeing a concert there. It's like in terms of a concert venue, I think it is one of the best out there. Just magical seeing, you know, Denver in the background, surrounded by the cool red rocks, sun blasting off of there. So amazing. You have all the ski resorts out there at, you know,
Yes.
Aspen. Breckenridge is one of my favorite overall towns. I haven't actually skied out in Colorado. I'm hoping to get out there at some point. I've been a lot in the summer to those ski towns, like, you know, Vail obviously is gorgeous. Kind of just feels like another European village. Breckenridge is amazing. You know, there's Beaver Creek. There's just so many cool little ski towns. Denver itself has its charms. I don't know if I'd live in Denver. It has some certain things about it, but Colorado overall, just a very gorgeous state, especially for outdoor lovers, you know, hiking, skiing, snowboarding, fishing, all that. So,
Cool. So
yeah,
I think you're back up again with Arizona.
Arizona, yes. So Arizona, another place that I've spent a lot of time in. I have some family out there, so I've been lucky enough to spend a lot of time out there. Fun facts about Arizona: there's actually 22 national parks and monuments in Arizona.
Holy crap.
That's a lot. Seems like a lot. What else?
I love Arizona.
I forgot to say for Colorado, just because I wanted to sneak this in there. The term hamburger originated from a diner in Colorado. I just had to mention that.
Really?
Yep. Arizona's Sonoran Desert is the only place on Earth where the iconic saguaro cactus grows. Like, you know, all the cacti that you think of there, it only grows there. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Sick.
Two of the top rated waterfalls in the United States, top 10, are located in Arizona: Havasu Falls and Grand Falls. I don't know if you guys have seen like any pictures of Havasu Falls or like the Havasu Nation area. It's literally desert, and then they have like the most beautiful blue water river that you can walk through. You have to get a reservation to go there like a year in advance, and it's so hard to get a reservation. Maybe that's why it's been able to maintain such amazing beauty there. But that's another place that's on my list, is Havasu Falls. Obviously, you have the Grand Canyon National Park, which is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world and the only one located in the United States. So that's obviously a must. Have you guys been out to the Grand Canyon?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
spectacular.
It doesn't
It
even
really is. The Grand Canyon is one of those places where it's like you could take as many pictures and videos as you possibly
Yeah.
do, but it'll never do justice when you show it to somebody else. It'll just be like,
exactly
yeah, you need to be there, and everybody needs to experience the Grand Canyon.
100% agree. It's so just like you take it in, you're like, holy shit, how is this real?
It's like natural beauty of like, it's like New York City, but made in natural beauty. It's like insane. Just nuts.
Yeah,
Interesting analogy.
I like it.
Thanks.
But yeah, you also got, you know, Phoenix is a beautiful city, very up and coming. Scottsdale, I love visiting Scottsdale, all the golf courses out there. You got, you know, Camelback Mountain, tons of hiking. The desert is really pretty. Not when you're there in the summer though. Don't go there in the summer. It gets over 100 every day, and you piss outside, you piss on a rock, and it's immediately evaporated and gone. And then Sedona, I also want to mention Sedona because Sedona doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion.
No.
Such a beautiful area with all the red rocks. I mean, beautiful rock formations. It's a very touristy town, but I highly, you know, recommend, if you haven't visited out to Arizona, if you're gonna make a stop to Arizona, you should go out
Arizona is truly one of my favorite places to go. I love it.
Yeah. You've
The
talked
golf
about
in
wanting to
Arizona-
live there.
the golf in Arizona is incredible too.
Yeah, that was what my favorite golf course ever was, in Sedona. Like golfing in the canyons and the red rocks. So yeah, that's Arizona for y'all.
Awesome. All right. I think now we got number 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Utah is number 4. I was pushing for Utah to be in the top 3, but 4 it lands. There are some absolutely gorgeous things to see in Utah. What is so funny?
Not nothing.
So Monument Valley is one of America's most iconic landmarks, home to huge sandstone formations that can reach over 1,000 feet tall. Again, like just a common theme in Utah, just a lot of like beautiful red rocks and desert land and beautiful rock structures. And Bryce Canyon, home to the largest collection of hoodoos in the world. Frutas are a unique rock formation created by uneven erosion, weathering, and giving this distinctive, unmissable appearance at Bryce Canyon. You'll also see woodland, wildlife, caves, gulches, the whole bit. It's like a absolute hiker's paradise. So Bryce Canyon is absolutely gorgeous. Arches National Park is there. Over 2,000 stone arches, as well as a variety of captivating rock formations, including balance rocks. We have one of those in beautiful Devil's Lake, Wisconsin as well. We got a balance rock over there, but yeah, no, that's just everywhere in Utah. So absolutely gorgeous. And then obviously you got the Red Cliffs. There are just tons of them in Utah in general, but Utah's Red Cliffs span a stunning and colorful 45,000 acres, formed red sandstone, which give them their unique appearance. You get that a lot down south, though. You get them in Arizona, you get them in Nevada, you get them in New Mexico. You get those like red rock type structures a lot down there. And then obviously I'll close down because there's a million things to say about Utah, but I'll close down with Zion National Park.
Oh, yeah.
Speaks for itself of what you can see and where you can go and what you can see in Zion National Park. It's one room to roam. But yeah, Zion National Park is absolutely breathtaking and I can't wait to get over there.
Yeah. When I went to Zion, we did 2 hikes out there, and the one, it's called the Narrows. That was truly the most unique hike I've ever done. We walked 11 miles in water, and you're surrounded by slot canyons, and you look straight up hundreds of feet and you're surrounded by these canyons. So cool, such a unique hike. Also really dangerous because the flooding there, it could turn on in like 10 minutes and all of a sudden the canyons could be flooding. So you have to be really careful when you're going out there. Max, if you do go out there, you'll also have to do Angel's Landing. You're going to really struggle with the heights portion. You have to go like kind of scale along the side of a cliff, and then you have a rope or like a chain that you hold on to. So
not happening, but I can't wait to go to Utah nevertheless.
Yeah.
I
Great
think
skiing too, that rivals a lot of Colorado resorts. People forget about that.
Oh yeah.
So
There's
like to touch on the skiing portion of it.
I mean, I was gonna say that too. Like just even surrounding Salt Lake, they have
exactly.
The canyons, Park City, Deer Valley, Alta, Snowbirds. Like the Alta and the Snowbirds, like in the Eastern Canyons, they say are like some of the best skiing in the US that are like not touristy at all. Like it's all local. So very good place if you're looking to go to a not busy ski resort.
So I got a question for Max. If he did his research on Utah, why do they call it Salt Lake?
Because it's the only Salt Lake city in the entire states.
They have a huge lake that is a salt lake right there, Mike.
Oh, good to know.
Oh, yeah. So that was great. So
it's a really eerie place, honestly. The lake itself, it's a little freaky. I'm not gonna lie.
Ty, you're up.
Salty.
All right, number 3 is you, Max. Or are we doing?
Oh, it's California.
Oh, we're doing California 3. Okay. Yeah, California. Very diverse, natural landscape. I think it is the state that covers it all. You start in the north, you hit the redwoods, you hit Yosemite, you hit San Francisco, beautiful mountains, beautiful scenery, beautiful nature, more of like the rugged landscapes. You work your way south, you hit the beautiful beach towns, Newport Beach, Malibu. Los Angeles has its charms. Obviously, it's a little bit in the shitter right now. LA still is cool. Rodeo Drive, Beverly Hills. It's got, really cool areas out there. You work your way more south. You hit the San Bernardino Mountains, Big Bear, bunch of ski resorts, super beautiful. And then also you keep going down, more beautiful beach towns, and then you hit San Diego. San Diego literally is known to have the best weather in the world. It literally it doesn't drop below 65 and it stays between like 65 and 85 at all times. My friends were just talking about it, and they said they were just there and it was just insane, like the weather and beautiful rocky beaches.
A lot of beach bums in San Diego. Honestly, like if you're looking to be a hobo or just looking to
California
homeless person, go to San Diego.
Or go to California overall. But I think California, honestly, you could even argue it for number 1 because of how diverse it is. It
Very
has
diverse.
everything. But yeah, I think being in the top three is a must for sure. But can't really argue with Hawaii or Alaska being the top two.
All right, so I got Hawaii at number 2. I don't really know a ton about Hawaii. So I got some top places to go and to see in Hawaii, for at least for what I looked up. I would love to go to Hawaii at some point. But from everything that I've heard, Hawaii's just become so touristy. But it's still breathtaking. The views in Hawaii are breathtaking. So forgive me if I butcher these names, but Hanamau Bay in Oahu. Oahu. So rich marine ecosystem. Hawaii royalty used to come here and fish and hang out. These days, you don't have to be royalty to be able to swim in the bay. But beautiful views from the beach, and Hawaii is just filled with amazing beach views. Like pretty much any island you go to in Hawaii, you're gonna have an incredible view at your beach wherever you're at. Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. So AKA the Big Island, the island of Hawaii. Maybe the largest island in the Hawaiian chain, but it's also the youngest. The island was made from composites of multiple volcanic eruptions, and it's not done growing. There are still 4 active volcanoes on the island today, in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park.
Yeah, the big
Mauna Loa is the largest active volcano on Earth. So, and that is in Hawaii. So
that island is literally all black rock. It's such a weird island. Black rock, and then they have like little shrubs everywhere. It's so it's so unique.
So the Hana Highway in Maui, it's the road that connects Hana and maybe the Maui go-to, but there's a reason for that. There's a 52-mile stretch of coastal road that connects Kahului to the quiet town of Hana. It's special because along the drive, you can take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. You'll pass waterfalls, swimming holes, rainforests, hiking trails, plenty of incredible beaches, incredible drive, scenic drive. Garden of the Gods. I'm not even gonna try to attempt the name of that. Kauhia Koelo, Garden of the Gods in Lanai. Most popular pure lush green valleys and sprawling beaches. It's to make you think what you think of when you think of Hawaii. Halawa Valley in Makauai, Walula Falls in Kauai. So again, the list could go on and on. This is Utah, but Hawaii is a place that a lot of people would love to go to in their life at some point. So if you can get there, make sure you give Hawaii a visit.
Yeah, and
I heard it's cool. I heard it's cool to visit the Pearl Harbor National Museum.
Oh yeah,
look underwater at like
it's very sad.
Yep.
I did go there. It's very cool to see the history, but be prepared. It's very sad.
Really? Oof.
They have videos and testimonials and quotes and everything. It's very sad, but still definitely good to see it.
Yeah, it's kind of gives you those like depressing vibes, kind of like the 9/11 memorial too in New York. It's the same thing. It's like it's unbelievable, the monument. It's like you have to go see it, but also it does give you those like kind of like the sad vibes or whatever.
So visit on your first day of vacation is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and just go into a massive depression for the rest of it. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah. So next we got the great state of Alaska. Got to go number 1. Everywhere you look, it's just insane. There's so much out there. It's so vast. It's also crazy, like to think like how big it is. I think I saw a stat that Alaska is literally like a third of the size of the US, and you could fit 2 Texases inside of Alaska.
Yeah.
Like it's insane how actually vast it is. It's home to 17 of North America's tallest mountains. It's also got 2 of the tallest peaks in the world. Mount McKinley, formerly known, now Denali. Insane mountain range. It's just unreal. Tons of active volcanoes, more than 100 active volcanoes. It's got over 10,000 active glaciers. Alaska actually has more coastline than the rest of the US combined, more than 34,000 miles, which is insane to think about. It's also pretty interesting how close Alaska is to Russia. You can literally, when it freezes in between Russia and Alaska, you can literally walk there. It'll take a bit, but you technically can walk there. Um, yeah, it's very seismically active. There's 150,000 earthquakes in the last 5 years, so kind of freaky. One of the strongest earthquakes ever actually occurred in Alaska. I don't remember when it was, but it was a 9.2 earthquake. I think it was in the 1900s, and it just absolutely ripped through Alaska.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty seismically active there. But in terms of its beauty, it's got three off the top of my head that I can think of that are just amazing national parks. Denali, you go there, you see the mountain, you see the bears, the wildlife. Wrangell, have you guys heard of Wrangell St. Elias National Park?
Yes, I have.
Okay, yeah, it was exciting to know that that's by far the biggest national park in the US, and I had never heard of it before. So that was very interesting. And then also, you got the Kenai Fjords National Park, lots of boating, kayaking, waterfalls there. Um, yeah, I just think Alaska, it's not even close in terms of natural beauty. You really can't beat it. Everywhere you look, it's just like you're in awe.
Well, congrats to Alaska on winning a #1 of the 50 most beautiful states.
Oh yeah.
But that's good stuff. So we hope that everybody enjoyed the 50 through 1. I know the episodes were a little bit longer because of it, but we had to get through 10 states every week. So there's a lot to get through. But anyway, that closes down our episode today. That closes down our top 50 states. So I'll make sure to make another post about that and post that on our Instagram page. Keep the comments flowing in. If you agree, if you disagree, if you think we're stupid, let us know. But also, again, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, and make sure you follow us and rate us on Spotify. But Monday after Monday, we'll keep them coming. Thanks for listening. Mike, Ty, thank you guys. You want to take us out?
Yeah. I haven't got to do one of these in a while. And pot out.
Pod out.